All right, so good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I will be your host for tonight on behalf of Lisa. Lisa is currently traveling at the moment. She's currently in New York and she misses everybody here in BAAHRI. She's currently engaging with patient advocacy organization that will benefit soon, this great BAAHRI group. So today I will co-host and quickly introduce our special guest for tonight. I am going to read a prepared introduction by Lisa. So I have known Teresa for 40 years as a graduate of Spelman College and a member of the extended Richmond community. Knowing that our children grew up together, a great pleasure that we recognize Teresa had followed her passion of health, nutrition, and personal care. She is passionate advocate for holistic wellness. Highlighted in her bio that you all have read is a podcast and blog that she has co-founded called Earrings Off. Here, Teresa uses her expertise as a certified health professional to fostering natural health and nutrition. She is no stranger to empowering communities, and she champions along with her co-founder and host, Lou Ali, the causes of health and prosperity for African American women communities, and yes, for us very broader communities. Please help me welcome Teresa Vaughan.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. I hope I don't disappoint you guys. So, hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be here, and I hope, honestly, that I don't disappoint. So, let's just go ahead and jump right in. I want this to be a conversation, right? So, I will be asking you guys to participate, and please do. It's a conversation, is what we're going to have tonight. So, I'm going to talk about great aging gracefully. And one thing you will notice, I think, in this presentation is that it's no different than all the things that we already know and have already, yeah, I will say that, all things that we already know, right? But we're just going to talk about it from that age perspective. So, without further ado, I'm going to get started. This is the with my introduction, I debated with myself about whether or not to introduce this person to you guys at the beginning or at the end. I'm going to just go ahead and introduce her at the beginning. This woman I found on the internet. Her name is Louise Post Ritter. Louise is 102 years old. She will be 103 years old in July. I'm not sharing, but I don't have a slide for Louise anyway. But let me give me a moment, please. I apologize. I need to share my screen. And now I don't see you guys. Do you see my screen?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. What did I do wrong? I did test this, right? Right. Japz. I tested this. Okay. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now let me get the presentation going. Okay. Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So, Louise is a centenarian. Yeah. So she's 102. She'll be 103 this July. I want to note that there are over 101,000. There are 101,000 people in the United States right now that are over 100, right? And Louise is one of them. Louise plays bridge. She drives herself to mass. She has no joint pain and no medication, and she's not on any medications. Her mother was a centenarian, and she has a couple of siblings who are also over 100. They just recently were listed in the Guinness Book of World Records because of their total age of the total age of she and her six siblings is 600, seven of them total, 682 years and 36 days. Amazing, right? She buys her groceries, she pays her bills, um, she eats I guess what would say a normal diet. She does eat her veggies from her garden. She loves to barbecue. She likes ice cream. Her favorite food is soup. She has even a nighttime cocktail. Her family owns a winery. She's in Arkansas. What she doesn't do is she doesn't eat fats and she doesn't snack between meals. So I started out, I told you guys I debated whether to do that at the beginning or the end, but I wanted to set the stage to let you know that aging doesn't have to mean frailty, right? It doesn't it doesn't have to mean that at all. And at any point, you will see you can get started on if you are experiencing aches and pains, you can start improving on them. So going on to the agenda, of course, the introduction, we're going to talk about what is aging. And this is where I'm going to need you guys to participate. I want you guys to volunteer to tell me what your definition of aging, what is aging to you, right? Gracefully, I should have put gracefully on there. We're going to talk about 3 key aspects to aging gracefully. They include physical health, mental and emotional well-being, and a healthy diet. Acceptance and life. Well, you know what? That's a mistake on my slide. I apologize. I should have taken that off. It's incorporated into these things. Then I have some resources that I'm going to share with you that I used to put this presentation together, and I will recap and answer questions if you have them. So, what does it mean to age? Does anybody want to share? Would anyone come off of mute and tell me what you think of when you think of aging? I'm not going to go on till I get someone.
I'll share.
Okay, thank you, Pernell. Go ahead.
I think aging is having longevity, but yet physically and mentally to be alert, to live a balanced life.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Anybody else?
I kind of agree with that. It's having a balanced life where you're able to function and do the things in life that you like to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Independence that's what I'm hearing you say.
That's key. Yes.
Yeah. Independence. Longevity. Yeah, you guys are using some good words. In fact, these are some definitions of aging that I pulled from various sources. Okay. And I put together words that you're going to hear over and over. Some of them you guys have mentioned. Longevity. We're going to talk about it flexibility, exercise, nutrition, patience. That's a good one, right? As we age,
yes,
we should give ourselves patience and grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
stress management is a big one. All of these things are relative when it comes to aging gracefully. So let's just jump right in and talk about this thing, physical health, right? And maintaining physical health as one age involves a combination of regular exercise, proper sleep, and routine medical checkups, right? Mm-hmm. So that physical, did somebody say something? Somebody want to say something? I'm okay with you guys interrupting and saying something. Because like I said, I want it to be a conversation. Did you guys know that falls are the leading cause of death in people over 65 years old? Did you know that?
I had heard that, yes.
I did not. Until I started looking into this, I was like, oh my goodness. And there's no real reason. They don't really know why, right? Other than it doesn't take long when you're immobile for your body to lose a lot of different things. But yeah, there's no real reason why. But muscle loss can begin as early as age 30. So, and then it accelerates at the age of 60. And like I said earlier, it's never too late to begin to exercise. Now, with this muscle loss, right, you see that you start to lose it at age 30. So to age gracefully, really, we should have been thinking about that at age 30. But who knew, right? Like I had no idea that you started losing muscles at the age of 30. And certainly I didn't realize that it would go exponentially at 60 and beyond. But that is the case. And like I said, it's never too late. I wanted to put that on there. It's never too late to begin to exercise.
Can I chime in about the exercise?
Yeah.
You know, I think after we get through our 25 and 30 range and we start working, where when you're young, you were so active, but when you really start working your career, you don't have time for all of that extracurricular activities that you used to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm learning with this, Vernell, thank you for sharing that. What I'm learning is that we really have to make time. We don't, one thing I forgot to mention about the centenarians at the beginning is that I said there was 101,000 of them right now. Well, that number is expected to triple in the next decade. And I thought to myself, the article that I read really didn't say why, but for me, I think it's information, right? So as a kid growing up, I had no knowledge that, like I said, that my muscles I would start losing muscle mass at the age of 30. But now this information is out there readily and available. And I think more people are learning. And, you know, like Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better. And so I think that before, yes, we were so busy with lives and careers, like you said, but now we know we need to take the time to make exercise and doing things healthy for our bodies, doing healthy things for our bodies a priority, just like going to work, just like I've heard this analogy a million times, and the first time I heard it, it annoyed me. Now I find myself using it. Just like we take care of our cars, right?
Yeah.
You know, we make sure that we get those tires rotated. We on schedule. We make sure we get the oil changed on schedule, right? Because we know that if we don't, what's going to happen to that car? It's going to break down, and we're going to have to get a new one. So we should take care of our bodies in the same. We should make time to take care of our bodies in the same way. So we're going to talk about exercise and see some examples. I have some pictures here of different exercise. Here's an older gentleman working out with weights. And I want to just say, if we don't exercise, what happens? Like we've already discussed the fact that you need to build your muscles because you start losing muscle mass. the falls that I mentioned on the first slide, breaking of the hips, your balance will worsen due to those weak muscles. If you don't exercise. Plus, our neurological systems ages quickly, leading to all sorts of nerve and I'm not a doctor, y'all, so I'm at a loss for words for that. But yeah, so you have trouble climbing stairs, carrying your groceries. You lose that independence, right? So these are things that happen if you don't exercise. You can't pick up your grandkids, for instance. You have trouble doing that. Exercise is necessary to counter all age-related physical declines. The one thing I want you guys to remember is aging doesn't necessarily mean frailty. Those things where we say, oh my goodness, once I turn 40, I tell you, my hip, my back, everything, that is not normal. And when you hear or find yourself saying those things, just remember Louise and all of the 101 of her counterparts who aren't having those symptoms. So another fact I found out about exercise, and these are just different forms of exercise. We got strength resistance. Like if you don't want to lift weights, you can use resistance bands. There is this is a really nice picture of a couple out kayaking, meditation, yoga. These are all forms of exercise. One other thing, I know a lot. How many people on the call walk for their exercise?
Very little.
Very little. Anybody?
Pretty much all I do is walk.
Pardon?
That's all. That's all I do is walk. I don't, do weights and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I understand that if you walk, I've been told if you walk just 15 minutes a day, it's a great help to you. So I walk, I do yoga, and I do weights and calisthenics. I try to mix them up.
Yes.
I do walking. I do aerobics with Lillian Lambert. And I also am missing my line dance class right now.
Well, all right now. I feel honored.
Well, I wanted to hear to make sure that what I was doing was what I was supposed to be doing. So that's
good.
Listen to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope I don't disappoint. Anybody else want to share before I go on?
I'm going to ask Lisa if she can have our health seminars a little bit later or a different day because it always interferes. But anyway, that's okay. I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? What type of exercise?
I'm Nicole. I walk no less than 12 miles a week. But
Wow.
That's all
That's all you do. Okay. Okay. So anybody else would like to share? Okay. So walking is wonderful. Well, I walk for exercise too. It gets you outside, in nature, fresh air. You can do it with friends, your family members and your neighbors. And we're going to talk about how the social part of it is so important. But walking is not enough. If that's all that you're doing, it is not enough. You want to be able to it's not building all of the muscles, right? You need that strength training, you need that flexibility, you need balance and all of those things. And you do, depending on the terrain that you walk on, it does help with your balance, because if you're walking and it's hilly, or if you're doing off-road walking, like hiking in the woods, those things that's really good in helping you with your balance. But you really need to challenge your lung capacity. You need to be winded, right? And not every time But most of the times you want to challenge yourself. And if you're not walking, line dancing is absolutely wonderful. Our aerobics, that's really, really good too. That's getting your heart rate up. And I want y'all to know, and I'm sure you've heard this before, that any exercise is better than no exercise. But if you're not exercising, anyone on this call, and I hope you guys don't mind me asking this, and let me tell you, there's no judgment on this call. And but I want to know, is there anybody who isn't exercising? If you're willing to share. Okay, that's great. No, any exercise is better than no exercise. And if you aren't exercising and didn't want to share, but if you start an exercise, I heard someone say 15, that gave the example of 15 minutes a day, right? If you're going to start, that is a great place to start. Walk into your mailbox, walking around your house. If your balance is, if you have issues with balance and you just want to walk in your house, making sure that it also is safe, moving trip items like your rugs or whatever, but walking around your house and moving about every hour for a few minutes is really very good. Okay. And the thing is consistency. You want to do it. I love to hear that Lillian and Juanita have that routine, that weekly dance class that they attend every
Twice
week.
a week.
Twice a week. That consistency is what you need. You need to be consistent. So let's talk a little bit about, oops, guys, I'm sorry.
Juanita, you missing a day is 3 times a week.
No, the line dance is 2 times a week on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6.
Uh-huh.
The
Oh,
aerobics is 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:00 a.m.
Okay. All right. I want to add this too. Like, if you aren't exercising and you want to start a walking routine, the best time to walk is after you've had a meal. So don't go walk your 15 minutes and then eat. Eat and then go walk your 15 minutes at a slow pace, right? So that's a good thing to do. It helps with digestion is the reason why, in case anybody wondering. Okay, strength training. What strength does is challenges your muscles to maintain and increase muscle power. So you can do body weight exercises. I heard somebody, I can't remember who said it, they do calisthenics. That's body weight. You can use weights, or you can use the resistance band, like on those pictures up there. With strength training, exercises should get more challenging over time. A good exercise can be done, a good strength exercise can be done 8 to 10 times before needing a break. And if you do 15 plus reps, increase at one time, you need to increase the weight. And the other thing I want to share, which I still should have started with, is before you do any of this, if you've not done it before, please consult your doctor before getting started. Don't want anybody to hurt themselves. And with the strength, the walking is good for that lower half of your body because it makes your legs strong. But the strength training works on the core, which keeps you balanced, your upper body, and your lower body. Different exercises work different parts of the body, and you want to keep it like Miss Juanita, you want to keep it a variety of things. You want to keep, because your body will get used to doing the same thing every week. You want to keep it mixed. You want to mix it up. Okay. Aerobic exercises. What is it good for? What is aerobic exercise good for? What does it do?
Heart.
Your
Helps
heart rate up. Heart rate.
Yeah, your heart and your lungs. It improves the body's ability to move and use oxygen. So the American Heart Association recommends that we move moderately with moderate intensity for 150 minutes a week. Okay. And then remember that whole thing about that I suggested about moving after you eat, because that helps with your but that you don't want to do a high intensity exercise after eating, but low intensity, a casual walk in the neighborhood is really good after you eat. Now let's talk a little bit about balance exercises, and I'm going to move forward. I think I'm having trouble with my screen. I'm not able to, because I'm sharing, I'm not able to see the next slide. But anyway, we're going to make it work. Okay, balance exercise. Why is this important? Why is it important to do exercises that help with your balance?
Help prevent falls.
Yeah, that's right. I will tell you that in my research, I read a statement by this physical therapist, and she said that a key indicator of how you will age, believe it or not, is whether you can put your socks on standing. So you're standing and you're putting a sock on, and you put that foot down, and you stand and hold your foot up and put the other sock on. How many of you stand to put your socks on?
I do.
You are you guys rock. Let me tell you something. That is amazing. I'm so glad to hear it. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I do that, right? When I put on socks, I do that for a couple of reasons. Well, one main reason is that I take yoga, and there's a yoga pose where you hold your foot out in front of you. Anybody familiar with that pose? So I try to practice that while I'm putting on my socks. So I didn't know that I was doing my body good by doing that, right? And if you don't do that, it's not too late to learn how to do it. But what I would suggest that you do is stand next to a wall or a chair, because in the beginning, when you hold up your foot, if you've not balanced on one foot, you're going to be a bit wobbly, right? So I would suggest that you stand by a chair or a wall and practice that, putting on your socks 1 foot at a time. That will help you with your balance. Another way to do it is heel-toe walking. Walking in a straight line, placing the heel 1 foot directly in front of the other, and walking as if you're on a tightrope. You guys get that picture in your heads? Another one is side leg raises. Again, you're standing behind a chair, holding onto it for support. You do hold on for this one. Slowly lift one leg to the side, keeping it straight, and then lowering it back down and repeating on the other side. This helps to strengthen your hip muscles, which are crucial for balance. What about sitting and standing? So sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, and stand up without using your hands. And then slowly sit back down. So repeating this strengthens your legs, and it helps to improve your balance. Now, okay, I got one for you, Miss Juanita and Miss Lillian. Do you guys sit on the floor ever?
We get on the floor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 o'clock.
Woo, you guys are star pupils. You are making my day. Yes. So if you don't sit on the floor, I encourage you, if you have to do so, right? If you have your favorite chair that you watch TV, you sit in to watch TV in, like your favorite chair. If you have trouble getting to the floor, one way you can easily get to the floor is to just slide your body slowly onto the floor in front of your favorite chair and just sit there. Don't cross your legs or anything. But then I want you to use your legs to help yourself slowly stand up and slide yourself back into the chair, right? That's one way to get started. That's what I had my mother do. And so now she at first could not get down to the floor. She couldn't get down to the floor without sliding herself off of the sofa, which is her chair. and then and now she can get to the floor, right? So you got to take these little baby steps, get creative in ways to do it. Get you a big pillow. And that's what I do for meditation. I have a huge pillow that I have on the floor. And I will sit on that because it's comfortable and I can cross my legs. But, I do practice with my regular exercise. I do the standing and the sitting without using my hands. I try to do it. I'm almost there, getting up without using my hands. I still have to I don't put my hand on the floor, but I take my hand and put it on the one knee that I have standing, and then I help myself. I help myself up. But I want to not be able to have to use my hands at all. But those are all. Any questions about balance? So we said, and I want to just recap, it prevents falls. It helps you maintain your independence. It gives you, those exercises give you enhanced stability and coordination, increases your muscle strength, and improves your reaction time. I had a really good friend who recently was doing too much. So, walking up and down the stairs, you're supposed to keep that 3-point of contact, right? Both feet and your hand on the rail. She was carrying stuff. She couldn't see the floor in front of her going down the stairs. And guess what happened? She missed a step, right? But because she does a lot of mobility exercises, she does yoga, she swims, so she's physically in good shape. She was able to drop the clothes that she was carrying and catch herself. So she saved herself from an awful fall. And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to, if you find yourself being unstable, you want to be able to catch yourself, and having balance does that. The same with flexibility exercises, and they're the same as all of the ones we've mentioned: yoga, Tai Chi, stretching, sitting on the floor. All those things help to keep you flexible. So I'm going to go ahead. Any questions about exercise? We're going to move on and talk about sleep.
I just have one question because I know falls cause a lot of deaths. Is it because they hit their head, or they just, when they break their hip or something, it's just such a traumatic thing?
That is exactly what a lot of people have concluded, that it's trauma to the body. And it's a hard joint to heal, right? So, and it happens mostly in people who don't exercise. Like, sure, people who exercise and eat right can fall and break their hip, but they will recover, right? Most of the times they will recover. But they don't know why, because in many cases they don't hit their heads. Sure, if you hit your head, that is one way that you will die. But a lot of people 65 and over, they will die, and the studies just don't say right now that, at least what I've found. And I'm new to this subject. I'm still learning every day. But so far, I did not. I wanted to know why. Why is it that you fall? And it's very important for us to be mobile. I don't know if you've had any, like my grandmother wasn't sick very long before she got bed sores. She was bedridden. Wasn't, but she got bed sores, right? So it doesn't take very long for your body to start deteriorating if you're not mobile. It's so important to keep your mobility as long as you possibly can. How
It
many of
also goes to show the the connection with the mind and the body as well as your spirit, and
Oh, yeah.
how it all connects together to make us who we are, to be a better person.
Yeah.
To have that body that will maintain, because every entity is functioning,
Yes.
and you can tell the difference when one is not working.
Yeah. Yeah. There is definitely a connection, and the mind is very, and that could be it, because if a person breaks their hip, that's sort of, you can't move. Literally, you are bedridden, right? And if that person, think about it, was very mobile
Yeah.
before this happened and very independent, and it happened, they now have to depend on someone. And if you're spiritually not in a good place, you can imagine how that might impact someone's spirit and their mind, if they don't have a higher power that they pray to. You can get depressed. Depression will kill you. I mean, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes too. So yeah, stress, all those things. So the mind, the body, and the spirit, all of those things are tied together. And thank you for sharing that. How many people on this call sleep 7 to 8 hours a night? Oh, Juanita, Miss Juanita, did I lose you on one?
No, it's close.
It's good.
Yeah, probably more like 7, I guess.
Oh, that's good. 7 to 8 is good.
Well, I my goal is 7, but I have this problem of I wake up the same time every day.
Okay.
So if I end up going to bed a little later, somehow I just can't sleep beyond this time, and I can't go back to sleep, and I don't sleep during the day. I can't nap.
Yeah, I'm not a napper either. So Miss Lillian, what is it about that hour that you
I don't know. It's around 5 or 6 o'clock, which is too early. My husband wakes up at 8 o'clock. He says, "Why you get up so early?" I say, "I get awake. Sometimes I'll lie in bed. I can't go back to sleep, so then I just get up." And I think when I wake up, I start thinking of all the things I want to do and the daily activities.
Oh,
And
you
that's
know, okay, okay. So, do you wear a sleep mask, Miss Lillian?
a sleep mask.
Yeah,
No,
an eye mask.
no,
No?
no.
Does it help?
Oh yes. Oh yes. So, I want you to give it a try. Get one that will block out all the light. When you wake up, do you see any lights
Oh, yeah.
when you open your eyes?
Well, the light from the window in the room,
Yeah.
the blinds
Yeah.
are closed, but it's
It
just, I guess,
only takes a peek. It only takes a little bit, and your body, it tells you that it's time to get up. And you've been doing this. So this is something I want you to try. I want you to sleep with a sleep mask on. And when you wake up, because you will still wake up at 5, you will. I'm not telling you that the sleep mask is going to keep you from waking up at 5, but what you can train your body to do is to go back to sleep. So
okay.
when your mind starts racing about all those things you got to do, turn it off. So just don't let yourself go there, right? And if you have to repeat a mantra or a
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I repeat things and try to.
yeah, or a sound or something, just don't focus about what it is that you have to do. Plus, I don't know if you make lists, to-do lists. I don't know if you write those things down the night before that you got to do the next day. And then that way you don't have to think about it anymore, right? It takes it out of your head because you've written it down. So you don't have to think about it. And that's one way too. So wear the eye mask, do a to-do list the night before you go to bed for the next day.
Then
And
I
then,
think about the do list.
huh?
Yeah.
I think
No,
about
no,
the
no.
to-do list.
When you write it down, you need to let it go. Let it go. Because it's on that list and you're going to pick it up when you get up in the morning. But yeah, wear the eye mask because it will help you. I promise. Because
I will try that.
I had the same problem. I don't nap, right? my wake up time is 5 to 5:30. That's what time I want to get up, right? So on the weekends, when I have a moment to sleep in, especially on Saturday, who wants to get up at 5 or 5:30? So I was having that on the weekends. It was like I still wake up. I don't even have to have an alarm to wake up. And it sounds like you're the same way, Miss Lillian. So
Right.
I had to train my body to sleep late on Saturday because that's the only day I get to sleep in, right?
Mhm.
I get to sleep a little later on Sunday because church doesn't start until 9. So I don't have to get up at 5, 5:30. But it helped. That's what helped me to get over that, wearing a sleep mask. And I can sleep anywhere with it, y'all. I have one for the airplane. I'll put it on and I will go right to sleep.
I will order one as soon as I get off this call, and then I'm going to.
Yes, yes, please do. And Miss Lily, you have to let me know how it works for you. Now it's going to take a couple of tries, and it might not. It might happen quickly. I don't know, but let me know how it goes, okay? But don't give up. Try it at least for a month, I would say. 30 days. Give it 30 days before you give up on it if it doesn't work immediately. But I think it will. I think it will. Pretty quickly. It didn't work immediately for me, but it did work pretty quickly. And now it's a distant memory. It's just a thing I do. Okay, now who else is not sleeping? Who isn't sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night? And I want to talk about why. Why do you think that is? Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
I don't.
Oh, you don't sleep? You don't?
No, I wake up through the night.
You wake up through the night.
I'm usually in bed by 10.
Okay.
And by 12:30, 1 o'clock, I turn over. Sometimes I turn TV on.
Okay. Okay.
Then if I don't go off to sleep within the hour, I turn it back off.
Yeah. Okay. So
then again, I'm waking up about between 4:30 and 5 o'clock.
I can absolutely help you. Absolutely. This is going to help you. Number one, what is the bedroom for?
Sleep.
That's it. That is it. Sleep. You got to get that TV out of your bedroom. If you got TVs in your bedrooms, if you're going to bed with the TV on, that is an absolute no.
Okay.
Don't do that. And let me tell you why. Because you might fall asleep with that TV on, but you're not going to get into REM. You're not going to get into that deep sleep, right? You're not. You're just not. And your computers should not be in your room. Your TV should not be in your room. Even, your cell phone should not be by your bedside. Put it in the bathroom so you're not tempted to pick it up. Let your friends know. My phone goes into sleep mode at 9 o'clock. So only people on my list, like my mom, she's in another state, and my brothers, my daughters, and my husband, but he's here. But if he weren't, they're the only ones who can ring my phone after 9 and it come through. Everybody else, it goes to voicemail, right? So I can put my phone in the bathroom or in another space and it rings. If it rings, I know there's trouble after 9 because everybody in my circle knows that my phone automatically is set to go to sleep mode after 9 o'clock. But you got to, Vernell, that's a habit you got to break because nothing else can happen. It doesn't matter how much you eat well. It doesn't matter how much you exercise. If you're not sleeping, it just doesn't matter. Sleep is that important. All of those things are important, but if that sleep piece isn't working, if you don't have that, if you're not getting that sleep, I won't say it's for naught, but you're fighting a losing battle. That eventually it's going to catch up to you. But it is so important. It is so important to sleep. Who else? Anybody else? Thank you for sharing, Vernell. And I'm sorry, but we need to talk offline. I need to get that TV out of your bedroom. Who else? Nicole, did you want to share? Okay.
So I have been fighting chronic insomnia for several years.
Okay.
And I do have sleep apnea.
Okay.
So I have a CPAP machine and all that. But like many other people, my sleep hygiene was terrible. I had a TV in the bedroom. I used to eat upstairs in the bed. I had to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and just a lot of different things. So I have since changed those routines, and I do have a sleep mask.
Okay.
My problem is I can't pull myself off the couch after I already fall asleep to go upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Because your TV is where your couch is now.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's an easy fix too, though, Nicole. You just gonna have to watch that last show and say, "Hey, I gotta go upstairs and go to bed." You got to
Right.
stick to that schedule. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent with it. And yeah, you just
I feel myself revving up at night. I say I'm a night person
okay.
and that I hate the mornings.
Okay.
But I will watch one show and then be interested in the next one and the next one and the next one. And it is very difficult for me. But then the next thing I know, I have fallen asleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're right. I need to set that timer on the TV, and when it shuts off, it's over.
Yes. Yes, that's a good thing to do. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then get up and go upstairs. So when you're tired, you go right off to sleep, and you won't wake up in the middle of the night. Now, I'm glad you shared that you have a mask. What prompted you to get that? Was it because of the sleep studies and things that you went through?
So several things that, but also in my bedroom because I suffer from seasonal depression, SAD, seasonal affective disorder. I have sheer curtains and half curtains in my house.
Okay, yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that the daylight wouldn't interrupt my sleep. So I wear a mask.
Okay, got it. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, let me know. Let me know how that works, like
I
if
will.
you turn off that TV and you get upstairs and
It needs to
and I
be
want
on an automatic timer. That's the only way it's going to work.
yeah. And don't turn it back on.
Right.
Resist it. Okay. So anybody else would like to share? Okay. So
I do wake up sometime in the middle of the night, and if I wake up, I get up, go to the bathroom, but I go right back to sleep.
yeah. Yeah. So that's and that's not every night. That's just sometimes.
Right.
So that's good. There's no problem there. I don't see any problem there. So what happens when we talked about what happens when we don't having too much sleep? What does that do to us? It doesn't sound like anybody
I don't have that problem.
Nobody on this call has that problem. But it is a problem though. If you're sleeping more than 8 hours, like say 9 to 10 hours, it can have several negative effects. So it's too much sleep is associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, obesity, diabetes, and premature death. Cognitive decline, similar to too little sleep. Excessive sleep can also lead to cognitive impairments and increased risk of dementia. Mood disorders. Excessive sleep can contribute to the feelings of lethargy, depression, and decreased quality of life. So,
now, are you sleeping because you have those problems, or do you have those problems because you're sleeping? I'm trying to
see, that's one of those things, right? Like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah, that is exactly right. You've hit on something quite significant there because people who, because people who have mood disorders sleep a lot. Like if they're depressed, that's just something that comes with it. So yeah. So it's important either way it is to deal with that so that you don't sleep too much, okay? Proper sleep is essential for maintaining physical health, cognitive function, emotional well-being, and the overall quality of life as we age. Striking a balance by getting 7 to 9 hours per night is key to avoiding the negative impacts of both too much or too little. Establishing a good sleep hygiene practice, such establishing good hygiene practices such as maintaining a regular sleep schedule, creating a comfortable sleep environment, and avoiding stimulants before bedtime can ensure adequate and restorative help. Another thing is you want to have at least 3 hours before you go to sleep after you've eaten, right? Because you need to give your body time. It takes about 4 hours for your body to digest, I think, about 90% of the food that you've eaten. So you want to make sure that you have that 3 to 4 hours after you eat before you lay down, because that will, for me, what it looks like is terrible nightmares. If I go to sleep before my food is digested, I mean, I'm fighting for my life, literally, or my daughter's life, or my husband, somebody. It's awful. So I try not to do that. I don't know why my body is that way. But yeah, so any questions about sleep? Any more questions? Okay, moving on. Now, medical checkups. So a lot of people I know and talk to have the best insurance, the best, but they don't go to the doctor. I don't know why that is. It makes no sense to me. You need to make sure that you get regular checkups. Early detection, these are the reasons why. You want to make sure that you're on top of your health and that if there is something brewing in your body, that you detect it early, right? Mm-hmm. Conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes or heart disease. There are no symptoms in the early stages, but if you catch them early, treatment early detection allows for more effective treatment and can, I'm sorry, excuse me, can prevent complications. If you are dealing with a chronic condition, like one of those I mentioned, you need to be able to manage it well, right? So regular checkups help you to keep those things in check. The doctor can monitor your condition, adjust your medications, and recommend lifestyle changes, and all those things to help you stay healthy as possible. Your vaccinations and preventive measures. As seniors are more vulnerable to certain diseases like flu and pneumonia. Your healthcare provider can ensure you're up to date with those vaccinations and provide preventative measures to protect your health. Medication review is important. It's extremely important, especially if you have a chronic condition like we're going to do blood pressure, and you start to exercise, you might not need as much medication as you're currently on. So it's important for your doctor to review that medication for you. Mental health monitoring. So you want to be able to mental health is just as important as your physical health. Regular checkups can help detect signs of depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. Early intervention can improve outcomes and the quality of life. Personalized health advice. So your doctor can provide personalized health advice based on your medical history and lifestyle. This might include recommendations for diet, exercise, and other healthy habits tailored to meet your needs. You need to build a relationship with your healthcare provider or your healthcare team. You might have multiple doctors. You might have a chiropractor. You might have a nutritionist, and you might have multiple medical doctors, like a primary care physician. If you're dealing with arthritis, you might have a rheumatologist, just many doctors, but you want to have a relationship with them. You want them to know who you are. You want to tell them the truth about what you're experiencing, and they should be responsive to you. And if they aren't, what should you do?
Get somebody else.
That's
Do you
right.
got that?
That's right. And if they, guys, I met a young lady today. She was having very bad monthlies, and they recommended for her a hysterectomy,
Mm.
and she did it.
Mm.
Yeah, because there was no one telling her that there would be alternatives. She didn't know about natural health. She knows about it now, but it's after the fact, right? So sad. That kind of stuff breaks my heart, and it happens to Black women more than any other race. They recommend those things, and it's just tragic. But anyway, that's a whole other subject. So that relationship with your healthcare provider, if they're not listening to you, if they feel like you're getting over medicated, if you feel like you're not being treated right, if they don't care, I don't know if I can say don't care about you, but they should have some compassion for what you're dealing with, because they do see a lot of patients, and you have to feel like you're being seen. If you're not feeling that way, then you really should consider a different doctor. So build that relationship. And just for peace of mind, regular checkups provide peace of mind, knowing that you're actively monitoring your health can reduce anxiety and help you enjoy life more fully. Okay? So when you go in for your checkups, what kind of questions do you talk to your doctors about? How do you prepare for a checkup?
I write my questions down before I go in,
Very good.
because it's easy to forget it when you get in. And I demand getting answers, not don't let them brush you off. Well, I have an excellent primary care doctor, so that's not an issue. But I know some people are reluctant to ask the doctor too many questions because he's busy. Well, he's busy taking care of me right now. So
Yes, exactly. You're paying his salary, right? And I'm going to tell this story, and Vernell, don't tell my mom I told this about her. So my mother was having some problems sleeping, right? She wasn't sleeping. She was having insomnia, and she was having it was frequent urination that she was dealing with. She would kill me if she knew I was telling the story. So please, Vernell, don't rat me out. So I'm all about natural healing, right? So she's telling me about it, and I'm like, Mom, you need to do a herbal detox. I was like, you need to just detox and let's do a reset and you'll be fine. So I send her these herbs, and she takes them, she follows the little plan and all of that. And all of it went away. She's sleeping through the night, no more getting up to use the bathroom. She was just doing really good. And the doctor was getting ready to, I don't know, slack it to her with all this medication, and they were doing all these tests and all this. And she went to the doctor and told him, oh, yeah, well, about that, I'm sleeping through the night. I'm feeling much better, but they were insistent. We got to do these tests. Yeah, this is a problem. You told us this, so we got to take care of it, right? She was literally afraid to tell them that she took herbs because she thought it wasn't legal. She didn't know. And I'm not laughing at my mother. I am laughing at my mom because she's heard me long enough to know that it's okay. And they're just herbs, and they help heal you, right? And they happen to, whatever she was missing or needed at the time, the herbs addressed her issue. And I was very thankful for that. But she did not tell them. And my mom literally let them run those tests. And I was like, Mom, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. I just don't know. I don't know. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to insist on an answer that you're satisfied with. And if you have trouble understanding what they're telling you, take someone with you. If you're getting news that you don't think you can handle, have an advocate that can go with you and help you hear that information, help you write it down so you can deal with it later. So, any questions about that before I conclude this section? No? Regular medical checkups are a vital part of maintaining good health as we age. They help in early detection and detection of potential health issues, managing chronic illness, chronic conditions, and ensuring overall well-being. By staying proactive about your health, you can enjoy a higher quality of life, greater sense of peace. And remember, it's not too late to take charge of your health. You're going to hear that. You've heard it before. You're going to keep hearing it because it's true. It's not too late. Now, like I told you guys, this nutrition is my jam, a healthy diet, and we're almost out of time. Oh, Japz, we're out of time. It's 7:30. I didn't realize the time.
All right.
Okay, let me rush through this really quick. Okay, guys.
No problem.
I have this guy that I like a lot. I like him an awful lot. He writes books and he has a podcast, and he wrote this book, How Not to Die, right? And in the way this book is set up, and you can see all my little bookends, I've had many lectures on this book alone. We did a book club with my church with this book. I use this book all the time. The way the book is set up is that it starts with all the chronic ailments that we can die from. And then the back of the book is about how we can eat ourselves out of those situations. So that's all I'm going to say about that because we're out of time. One of the suggestions that Dr. Greger has in the book is to dine by traffic light. So green light is unprocessed plant foods. The yellow is processed plant foods and unprocessed animal foods. And the red, ultra processed plant foods and processed animal foods. Okay? So what it means, I thought I had this on the slide, so I'm gonna have to open the book for a second, guys. I want to tell you something. Give me 1 second. It shouldn't take me but a minute to find it.
Does it have a listing for all those things?
Yeah, that's what I want to read to you. So you mean what they are, right?
Yes.
Okay. So unprocessed plant foods, who doesn't know what that is? That is whole foods. That is cabbage, kale, those are fruits and vegetables without any processing. Not meaning not cooked, not eating them raw, but cooking them. But it looks, when you cook the green, it looks like a green, right? When you cook the cabbage, it looks like a cabbage. That is green light foods, and you can eat as much of it as you like on any day. Eat as much as can fill you up, right? Notice there are no plant foods that are green lit, okay? So green means just go, eat it. Yellow means caution. And red, of course, means to stop and consider what you're putting in your mouth, right? So the yellow being processed plant foods, that means that you didn't cook it yourself. It's in a package. It has ingredients other than cabbage in it, and it's cabbage, right? It has, and I'm not talking about the seasonings, I'm talking about those chemicals or those preservatives, thank you, in them. And yellow also with unprocessed animal foods. So unprocessed animal foods is like a chicken leg or a piece of chicken or a fish or, just meat that you eat unprocessed, a burger, right? So you want to eat very little of that. The red ultra processed plant foods are your veggie burgers, the new products that are considered
Plant-based.
vegetarian or vegan that they've made in a lab. Those are ultra processed plant foods and they're not good for you at all. And processed animal foods. So like your processed animal foods, like your canned Vienna sausages, hot dogs. You guys get the picture? Like who asked for the list? Do you understand now what processed animal foods are, what processed plant foods are, right? So,
And not at all,
yes.
or just not often, in terms of the bad stuff.
Which one?
The bad stuff.
In terms of the red?
Red.
In terms of the red?
Uh-huh.
He doesn't say, he never says, if you get the book, he never says that
No.
something is bad. It's just that you consider a red light food, so you caution yourself
Gotcha.
when eating it. And so if you remind yourself, I'm eating a ultra processed food, then you won't eat it as much because the book will tell you what it does to you when you eat it. And when you read that and you eat it and you know that this is happening inside of you as this food, I'll give you an example. This didn't come from his book, but I just watched a documentary on Netflix. One thing I love for breakfast is to have a muffin and a cup of tea. I like to have a sweet first thing in the morning. So this lady was saying what that does to your gut is throws it in. It was an automated picture of how your gut just goes into turmoil when the first thing it eats is sugar. So now I can't do it anymore because I knew, now that I know that that wasn't good for me, then I can't do it. I can't eat it. I mean, and I've tried. What I will do now is I'll eat a good breakfast and have it mid-morning, but I will not start my day with sugar. Right? So the video is called, the documentary is called Gut Health, and it's on Netflix. If you have it, I encourage each of you to watch it. So,
There
the
goes my
healthiest
cereal.
Oh my goodness. You're eating cereal?
Yes, because it's
Jeez.
quick.
It's
bad.
Renell. If anyone on this call is eating cereal, that is an ultra processed food.
Yes, I know.
Please don't do that. There is no such thing as a healthy cereal other than oatmeal
Wow.
that you cook, that you make. All right, I'm going to give you guys a quick recipe. First, if you have to have a cereal, let me give you a quick recipe. Take a mason jar, a pint-sized mason jar, put a half a cup of whole oats in it, right? A half a cup of oats in it. The oats not the quick cook oats, but the oats, the old-fashioned oats. Take a half a cup of old-fashioned oats, put it in there, and then you can use water, you can use oat milk, you can use any milk that you use, but I recommend plant-based milk, which is also, unless you make it yourself, an ultra-processed food. Because you've taken oats and made it into something else. That's what makes it an ultra processed food. So you don't want to do this every day. But you put a cup of oat milk or some plant-based milk on top of those oats, and put a tablespoon of chia seeds and put the top on it and sit it in the refrigerator. Okay? These are overnight oats that you're making. In the morning, and if you get used to if you don't eat chia seeds, I would suggest 1 tablespoon, but if you like chia seeds, put 2 tablespoons. In the morning, you get up and you're ready to have your breakfast. Take your oats out, sit it on a countertop, get you some blueberries and put it on top of it, and some walnuts, and stir it up and eat that. You will be satisfied and full until lunchtime. I promise you. And that in that cup of um oatmeal, and with that oatmeal, you're going to get fiber, you're going to get protein, and
Sweetener.
the blueberries are sweet.
How about honey?
And you can use no.
Oh,
Use a banana. Use a ripe banana. If you got to have sweetener, use a ripe banana. They're sweeter than the blueberries. If you got some bananas that are about to go bad, cut it up and put it in there. They're very sweet. So that's better for you than eating, adding a sweetener. But if you have to add a sweetener, I would use honey or maple syrup.
What about brown sugar?
no.
Yeah. Okay. So I would use brown. You talking about brown sugar that's been made brown with molasses, or are you talking about the raw sugar that's brown? Either
Well,
case, either case. With either case, sparingly, I would use those. You have to go. Bye, Nicole. Bye. Anybody else have to go? Because I've blown the time. I'm so sorry. Any other questions about the diet and that recipe?
So you're eating that every day for breakfast?
No. No, because like I said, the milk that you use, unless you make it yourself. Now, I do make my own milk as well.
Oh.
I make my own almond milk, I make my own oat milk, right? If you make it yourself, then I would say you could use it every day. But if you buy it in the store, if you read the label, they add oils to it because we want things thick. They put sugar in it because we want things sweet. But there are some brands out there there's one brand that I found that has 3 ingredients: the oats, the water, and salt. And I tend to buy that one if I don't get a chance to make my own, but I try to make my own. But yeah, I don't do that every day. I really mix it up, but I do eat vegetables for breakfast every day. So I will
the oatmeal is I usually eat oatmeal probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But I've tried your method. I'm not fond of that. I just cook mine.
You've tried the overnight oats and don't like it?
I don't like. My daughters use it. That's not the same for me.
No.
I'll try it again.
If you're used to it warm, but if you're used to, for people who like cold cereal, it helps. It satisfies their craving.
So maybe that's why I like mine hot. Maybe that's why I don't like, because it's cold.
Yeah. Okay. So inflammation gets in our body and it causes all sorts of problems. I'm going to say this real quick. Japz came turned on her camera, so I know I got to go. So, anti-inflammatory, eating this way is anti-inflammatory. Another diet that is really good for that is the Mediterranean diet. I'm sure you guys have all heard of that one. That's a good diet to follow. Inflammation is a problem, right? You might not know your body has inflammation in it until you start having symptoms like memory loss, cognitive decline, weight gain, right? Inflammation hides in our bodies, in our guts. And if you eat this way, it minimizes the opportunity for your body to have that internal inflammation. I could do a whole 2 hours on talking about that alone. So I'm going to stop myself from going there, okay? Because we got to go. Mental and emotional well-being. The best thing about aging, I love the fact that Miss Lillian and Miss Juanita exercise together because it's friendship. You're social. You got to keep social connections. You got to learn to do new things. You need that mental stimulation. You need to manage your stress. You need that emotional support. So this is very important. It's just like that thing I said about sleep. You can do all the other things, but if you don't nurture your mental and your emotional well-being, it's all for naught. is so important. Okay. And I will arrange for you guys to get the slides because I want to go ahead and end the session, right? Because we've taken too long. I've taken too long. I apologize.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Fine, no problem.
So what'd you say, Japz? I didn't hear you.
I said no problem. We enjoyed your, your
Okay.
presentation.
So good. So three key aspects, right? Taking care of the physical, that mental wellness, and that healthy diet. If you get those things taken care of and you pay close attention to them, you will age gracefully. So by focusing on these aspects, individuals can age gracefully, enjoying a fulfilling, happy, and healthy life as you grow older. Excuse me. Questions? Questions?
I have a question, Teresa. Now, how do we balance a holistic approach and being on prescription medication for already diagnosed conditions? I know that you already mentioned like having proper sleep, do exercise, eating the right food. Just trying to see if there's any other suggestions that you might have, a potentially natural approach on managing health conditions
Yeah.
with
So
prescriptions.
thank you for that question. So one thing about this country is that we practice medicine very well. There are medications that help us live long lives. I don't know about quality if we are on those medications long term, like diabetes medicine, like high blood pressure medications, like cholesterol medications, right? So if for me, I promote that natural holistic lifestyle, right? So what I would do if I had a chronic illness is I would research about what does it take for me to get off of this, right? And I would then take that research to my doctor and say, hey, look, I found this information. I saw that this one person, because we're all different. This is why you're taking it to your doctor. This person did this and was able to reduce their medication. If I commit to doing the same thing, can we look at reducing my medication or eventually getting me off of that medication? Right? But you have to commit. One thing about doctors, of course, they will give you the medication because you know what their job is? To keep you well, like to keep you healthy. So if you have high blood pressure, guess what? They're treating you for that. They're going to give you the medication. But if you show them that you're vested into not having that high blood pressure, they should work with you. And again, if they don't, then that's one of the doctors you need to move away from. Another type of doctor that you might consider adding to your team, we talked about having a nutritionist, a chiropractor, all the different type of doctors, is an integrative medicine doctor. Now, who knows what that means? Integrative medicine doctor, a functional medicine doctor. My primary care physician is an integrative medicine doctor. And what he does is first look at food. He looks at food first before he says, here, take this pill. But you have to be committed to making the changes. So that requires journaling, that requires paying attention and listening to your body. Because you can't play with these things. You can't play with, why did those balloons, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Why'd that happen? You can't play with chronic illness. You have to be committed, you have to be consistent, and you have to do the research. That's what I would say to that. I hope that answered your question. And you got to be honest with yourself, okay? So I have a friend who was willing, to, there's all of these weight loss drugs that are out there right now, right? So my friend was willing to risk her health in order to be able to take that drug to lose weight, because she felt like she needed that jump start to get her feeling physically well enough to start exercising. So she was willing to gain weight and to become diabetic in order to get this drug for free so that she could lose weight, right? I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. And I told her how crazy she was, and she didn't do it. And I said to her, why not have that same commitment to yourself and just put one foot in front of the other and get started? Why not just start with your diet, right? So we have to be committed to ourselves and not use those things as crutches. Yeah, blood pressure medicine maintains your blood pressure, but guess what? If you have high blood pressure, you stop taking the medicine, what's going to happen to you?
Very stroke.
Yeah, you're gonna get sick. You're gonna sick, and you could even possibly die. So what you want to do is have the commitment and be honest with yourself and just be consistent, consistent, and have that relationship with your doctor. That's it. I know I said that twice. Sorry. Any other questions? Did I answer your question, Japz? Okay, good.
Yeah, this has been very, very, very good. A little, a question. What is this about everything in moderation? I mean, as long as you don't overdo it on this, overdo it on that, I mean, that's what we've heard.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing though is almost like you need to get rid of all those red lights and watch those orange lights, and you're free to have the green lights. So this everything in moderation thing, like in other words, if I want a piece of cherry pie, I just happen to like cherry. I shouldn't have that. That's a red light, obviously.
No, okay. You got it. One thing about aging gracefully, I want you guys to Google that Lewis Ritter, post Ritter. She's happy. You cannot, I would never advise anyone to just deprive yourself, right? But I also don't like everything in moderation as a statement.
Right. That's what I mean.
And
I've heard that.
Yeah. And so don't deprive yourself, because if you like cherry pie, eat cherry pie. But
not
cook
every
that
day.
cherry pie yourself.
Oh. Maybe I don't like cherry pie after all.
Well, if you're going to eat it out, then okay, I love French fries.
Oh, now I can do without those.
Okay. But that's my cherry pie. Okay. So I love French fries. I might have, and I don't do it every month, but I might have French fries once a month. Okay. Just to satisfy that craving, right? I don't fry at home anything. I don't fry. I pan fry, but I don't deep oil fry like French fries at home, right? So I don't make it easy for me, right? But if you're gonna go to a restaurant and have a piece of cherry pie, right? Because I saw the way you looked when I said make it. So if you're going to make if you're going to make a pie, if you're going to buy a piece of pie, then know how it was made. Know the practices of that restaurant. Do they use the best ingredients, right? And if they don't, then maybe your cherry pie is something you have once every other month or every now and then. It's your treat for your birthday. You know what I mean? And about everything in moderation, it really just depends, because we're all different. And what is moderation?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yes. But if you're eating something that's not good for you or you're allergic to, a little bit can kill you. Honestly, food literally heals us, and food will kill us if you're allergic to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Now, I mean, like with this cherry pie, I don't do very much cooking now in terms of sweets and all. And I don't eat sweets unless they're very good.
Yeah,
But Costco has a great cherry pie.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they had not had it since the pandemic.
Okay, okay.
I was in there this week, and what do you know?
They had cherry pie. So you don't eat the whole thing, do you? Because they had those
No,
pies.
I immediately shared it with my neighbor. 'Cause
Oh,
I
nice,
gotta get
nice,
some of
nice.
it out of here.
That is perfectly fine, Miss Juanita. That's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine.
And I probably won't buy another one for a long time because even though it's very good, it costs $16 for the
Yeah.
pie. You know, so but anyway,
I love French fries is I love French fries and I like sweets, but I tend to make my sweets myself. And that way I can control I control the sugar, I can control the I don't ever use I modify every recipe that I cook. In fact, most of my recipes are my own because I've modified them too much, but I love to cook. I love to cook. So I prefer eating at home than eating out. But I know I'm different than most people.
I gotta go.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lillian. Any other questions? Okay, guys, this was fantastic. I am so grateful that you let me spend this time with you. I want to tell you guys how you can follow me and get in touch with me. I have this podcast. Now, we do talk about things other than health, but there are a lot of health blogs out there on the website. It's www.earringsoff.com. So there you will find the podcasts and you will find the blogs, and there are descriptions out there for each of the podcasts. We do post a new blog and a new podcast weekly, except for the month of December. We run repeats because we take the month of December off. We do have some events coming up that I'd like to share with you guys. We're going to do a community fast and detox. So in July, on the 15th, starting on the 15th, if you're interested in joining us, go to our Instagram and you can email me at info@earringsoff.com. We will be posting information, I think tonight about the detox. We're following the DHERBS, DHERBS full body cleanse. Now, it is not an easy one, but it is definitely doable. It's 20 days. It's a 20-day detox and fast, and you don't eat any cooked foods during that 20 days. So there will be no meat. It's all vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and none of it cooked. It's a raw food fast and detox. Also, in October, we're celebrating our 5th year, and we would love for you to come out and celebrate with us. It's on October 5th. Put that on your calendars at 6:30. It's in Chesterfield at the Highlands, the Reserve at the Highlands. There will be more information on our page, on our webpage, and on our Facebook page and our Instagram. So Instagram is Earrings Off Podcast, and Facebook is the Earrings Off Podcast. Please connect with us, follow us, tell your friends about us. And again, thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share with you guys. Can't hear you, Japz.
Thank you, Teresa. I'll make sure to include all the links, your Instagram, your website, all these information that you have shared. I'll include it on the summary email that I am going to send out to everybody.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
And-
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
good.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Hi, Deborah. I didn't know you were there.
Thank you, girl. I needed it. Thank you.